Welcome in, everyone. I hope you guys are doing great wherever you're watching from today. We have some major news. President Donald Trump has deployed a massive asset to the region to fight Venezuela as tensions continue to cook off against the Venezuelan regime of dictator Nicolás Maduro as we continue to inch closer and closer to war with the regime of Nicolás Maduro. The people of Venezuela cry out for help, cry out for freedom, cry out to be released from the boot of the thug Nicolás Maduro. And now President Trump is bringing some serious firepower to that theater of war, and it is staged in a terrifying location if you are the Venezuelans, and it is capable of unleashing a whole hell of a lot of firepower. We're going to get into exactly what President Donald Trump has sent down there. I'm going to break it all down for you. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free, huge boost to the channel. Comment with your thoughts below. Do you want to see President Donald Trump smash the regime of dictator Nicolás Maduro and overthrow that piece of garbage from power? Let me know in the comments below. Hit your notifications bell. All notifications turned on. You won't miss a single thing. And then right here, Instagram, David_Hookstead, X, D Hookstead. That's where you can find me on social media. My DMs are open. Reach out with any tips you have or to just say hello. Love talking with you all. You're the best people on YouTube. Now let's get into it. The United States of America continues its essentially unprecedented military buildup in the region against Venezuela as we continue to strike drug boats, continue to blow up targets in international waters that are pushing their poison up to the United States of America. We have made it crystal clear we will not be tolerating any of those people coming here. And if we can find them in open waters, we will blow them up. But the big picture, all eyes are on Venezuela. All eyes are on the dictatorship, the Maduro dictatorship, the Maduro regime, him and his crony generals, his corrupt pals, if you want to call them that. They are trying to close ranks. They are putting missiles all across the border. They're putting missiles all along the coast as the U.S. builds up its military forces, and our beautiful aircraft carrier, the Gerald R. Ford, steams into the region. I personally don't think you will see any bombings commence before the aircraft carrier shows up because that's an asymmetrical weapon, right? The aircraft carrier is a complete and total game changer. You want that aircraft carrier there so that when strikes start, you have an extra super powerful asset that can get into the fight. My hair's a little crazy right now. I apologize. We got the hat on still. Well, it won't be just the aircraft carrier that's going to unleash a can of whoop ass against Nicolás Maduro. I'm going to throw this on the screen for y'all. This comes from the New York Times. So it says here, U.S. sends attack aircraft to El Salvador amid regional troop buildup. A New York Times analysis of satellite imagery and an air traffic control communications found that U.S. planes began operating out of the Central American country in mid-October. These aren't just any planes. It says at least 3 U.S. military aircraft, including a heavily armed attack plane, have begun flying missions out of El Salvador's main international airport and an expansion of the extraordinary U.S. troop buildup in the Caribbean, according to an analysis of satellite images, air traffic control communications, and flight tracking data. The attack plane, an AC-130J Ghost Rider, is designed to destroy targets on the ground or at sea using missiles or barrages from its cannons and machine guns. It is operated by the Air Force Special Operations Command, a unit that carries out sensitive missions for the military. The New York Times also identified a Navy reconnaissance plane and a rarely seen unmarked Air Force jet at the airport. Starting to get spicy. The influx of forces into the region started in late August, just before the Trump administration began launching what it said would be counter-narcotic missions, while also planning for a possible military action in Venezuela. The buildup has included about 10,000 U.S. troops, along with drones, bombers, and nearly a dozen Navy warships, soon to be bolstered by the arrival of the aircraft carrier, the Gerald R. Ford, which I just said. So far, the Department of Defense has reported 16 lethal strikes on boats it says were involved in drug smuggling. The deployment to El Salvador is likely to be the first time a foreign country has hosted U.S. planes that may be involved in strikes in the region, and it further reflects the warm ties between the Trump administration and El Salvador President Bukele, who has aided the President Trump's immigration strategy by, well, we don't really need to, by taking the criminals we want out, they're taking them. Okay, so we go down here. So what we see here is an AC-130J Ghost Rider. That is a highly modified AC-130 for special operations only. It is a special operations plane, a modified AC-130 capable of bringing an insane amount of firepower, just annihilating any targets in front of it. And then right here, you have the P-8A Poseidon, which is a spy plane, a great, highly technologically advanced with SIGINT capabilities, a great spy plane, and then a C-40 Clipper. Okay, here we go. It says, along with the Ghost Rider gunship, there is also a Navy P-8A or PA-8 reconnaissance plane, which is equipped with cameras that can collect intelligence from thousands of feet in the air. The P-8A is also capable of launching torpedoes and anti-ship cruise missiles. A third aircraft, the unmarked C-40 Clipper, has been at the base since mid-October. Little is known about its purpose, but flight tracking data shows it occasionally flying with surveillance aircraft. It is rarely spotted in public, and its deployment to El Salvador alongside an attack plane is highly, highly unusual. So, for those of you who are unaware of what the AC-130J Ghost Rider is, we have a photo here. So that's what it looks like. You can see some of its guns sticking out. Put another photo up here. We have a photo of them here. And then it says the AC-130J aircraft was officially named Ghost Rider in May 2012. The first AC-130J aircraft completed developmental test and evaluation in June 2015. The initial operational capacity was reached in 2017. Full operational capacity forecast fiscal year 2025, which is what we are. The first AC-130J squadron, the 73rd Special Operations Squadron, was activated at is that pronounced Herbert or Holbert Field, Florida, February 23rd, 2018. The last AC-130J delivery occurred in November 2017. So when we look at armaments here, I'm going to highlight this on the screen. Precision strike package with 30 millimeter and 105 millimeter cannons, standoff precision guided munitions with GBU 39 small diameter bomb, GBU 69 small glide munition, AG-1 114 Hellfire missile, AG-176 Griffin missile. So what we are talking about right now is a piece of equipment, if you want to call it that, that is an incredible piece of military power. We cut this bad boy loose. Let me throw another picture up. I'll just put the picture back up on the screen for you. We cut this bad boy loose against the enemy. And what you are going to see is them get absolutely destroyed. There's no other way around it. There is no other way around it. We cut this bad boy loose on the Venezuelans, and they are going to get obliterated. As for the C-40C, we have some details on that here that I can show you. Let me pull it up on the screen. So right here, it says the Air Force selected the C-40B, a military version of the Boeing 737-700 business jet, to replace the aging fleet of C-137 aircraft for use combatant commanders. The Air Force awarded the medium lift contract in August 2000 by using commercial off-the-shelf acquisition practices in a loose program for the C-40C. The Air Force reached a benchmark for aircraft procurement. The C-40C was the first military aircraft to be purchased in this manner. So right down here, you can see it can carry a fuel capacity of 60,000 pounds, 26 to, it's a C4, the C-40 Clipper. It has a capacity of 40 to 100 people, 111 people. So it is capable of bringing a ton of operators. It is a aircraft. I'll pull a photo up here. See, these are the Bs. I want a photo of the Cs. Let me hold on. So right here, It is a plane that kind of looks like this. But the one they spotted on the ground has no official markings, which means what is it being used for? We all know what it's being used for. It's being used to transport black operations around. That's how this works. Black operations, they're not getting on a Delta airline. They're not getting on American Airlines. They're flying an unmarked Air Force aircraft. That's the reality of the situation. Now, I'm going to highlight this right here. We talked about this on a video I released on November 7th. This is November 8th. It says, it appears Maduro is starting to get scared shitless of all the people and all the military buildup in the region. I know he's out there talking tough. He's not going to back down. He's not going to stop. Blah. You know, the guy talks tough. But in reality, according to The Atlantic, he is ready to pack his bags and leave as long as the United States of America spares his life. If we promise to not off him, he promises to leave power, take his money, go to Moscow, wherever he wants to go. It says Maduro would be open to a managed exit if the United States provides amnesty for him and his top lieutenants, lifts its bounties, and facilitates a comfortable exile. People who have dealings with the Caracas regime say, if there's enough pressure and if there's enough candy in the dish, the person who speaks to officials in both countries said, everything is on the table. And that leads me to this. So I'm going to put this up on the screen for you right here. This also comes from the New York Times. These are three options that the president has reportedly been given, briefed on for how he can get rid of Maduro. It says the first option, I'll highlight it right here. The first option would involve airstrikes against military facilities, some of which have been involved in facilitating drug trafficking with the aim of collapsing Venezuelan military support for Maduro. If Maduro believed he was no longer protected, he might seek to flee or in moving around the country, make himself more vulnerable to capture. Option two, highlighted right here. A second approach envisions the United States sending special operations forces such as Army's Delta Force or Navy SEAL Team 6 to try to capture or kill Mr. Maduro. Under this option, the Trump administration would seek to sidestep prohibitions against assassinating foreign leaders by arguing that Mr. Maduro is first and foremost the head of a narco-terrorist gang, an extension of arguments used to justify U.S. airstrikes on the boats the administration says are smuggling drugs. It says right here, option three, a third option involves a much more complicated plan to send U.S. counterterrorism forces to seize control of the airfields and at least some of Venezuela's oil fields and infrastructure. These last two options carry much greater risk to American commandos on the ground, not to mention civilians, especially if they were targeting Mr. Maduro in an urban center like Caracas, the country's capital. So those are the three options President Donald Trump has been briefed on. I'm going to pull this off the screen for you now. So we've got the Ghost Rider. We've got the AC-130J Ghost Rider, a plane tricked out with weapons, tricked out to conduct bombings. It can fire its cannons. It is an annihilation style weapon. When you bring in the AC-130J Ghost Rider, you are looking to obliterate the target you are going after. The time at that point, negotiations are over. That plane is showing up to wipe out whoever it is being sent after. And if you're Maduro and you think you're going to get in a convoy and make a run to the airport, this thing's going to come overhead and just eviscerate everything it opens fire on. Then we've got a C-40 Clipper, Black Ops plane in the region in El Salvador, not far from Venezuela, well within striking distance, that is moving almost certainly clandestine Black Ops forces into there. Then we hear Maduro might flee, which I've said before. If he flees, he flees. That's okay. Way less risk to us then, right? If he flees, everyone probably, then we really win. And then we have President Donald Trump being briefed on three different military options. So the situation continues to get hot, continues to get spicy, continues to be rapidly changing. And I will be here to bring you guys all the updates as we have them. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about this amazing plane being deployed to potentially fight Venezuela? What difference will it make? Let me know in the comments below. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free. Cost you guys nothing at all. Huge, huge, huge boost to the channel. Hit that notifications bell. All notifications turn on. You won't miss a thing. And then right here, Instagram, David_Hookstead, X D Hookstead. That's where you can find me on social media. My DMs are wide open. Please reach out with any comments you have, any tips you have. I love hearing from y'all. I'll see y'all next time.